Hey, what's going on? This is Troy, and this is the Planet 76 podcast, your source for Sixers news, highlights, hot takes, and more. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, everyone, to the latest installment of Planet 76. My name is Michael. Bit of a change up here, as you can see in my car. This could be one of many car episodes for me, but a solo episode coming at you again. This time, one from me. Troy dropped a few of them. Our schedules just have not matched up, but we both wanted to get something out, and we both wanted to get an episode, whether it be a shorter episode, medium episode. We wanted to get something out for you guys. We want to continue building this audience. So that's what we're going to be doing the next couple of days or so. Troy dropped an episode last night. This is probably going to drop Saturday or Sunday. I'm recording this on Friday. But nonetheless, we move. Make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and subscribe. Spotify, Apple Podcasts as well. Got a couple topics today. We're going old school with paper. I typed this out and printed it out because my computer at my house is being weird. So I had to print this out. And I got some topics that I want to discuss on this show. The Sixers are currently, I like to call this point in the season kind of no man's land. I think no man's land is more so like March to end of April, because there's just a lot of anticipation for the playoffs. Still a lot of uncertainty of what's going on with a lot of teams. And I imagine the Sixers this year, I imagine it's going to be no different for them this year as well. But almost mid-season, we're 40 games in almost, actually. 38 games in. Very close to the midway point of the season. And honestly, I find a lot of similarities that I did last year and I do this year with the Sixers. Still kind of unsure what they are. We know they're a fun team. We know they're energetic, fast-paced. We know they can score lots of points, and that's important. One thing I still am just not sure of is how they stack up to the rest of the Eastern Conference. I know that I'm confident saying the Sixers are the third best team in the East right now as currently constructed. I imagine if they do make a trade, that will get better. They will get better. They'll be better as a team. But even then, right now, I think they're currently the third best team in the Eastern Conference. I'm very, very confident in saying that. I think they're a shoo-in as well for the third best team in the East. I think Boston is considerably better. I think Milwaukee is considerably better. Now, I know a lot of people saw that Boston game last night. They got smoked, run out of the arena by the Bucks. But I'm not really one to put too much stock into just one game. We've seen the Celtics be basically world beaters this year on both ends of the floor. That hasn't changed. That's not going to change based on one game. The Bucks are still working some things out, but talent-wise, I do think they're the second best team in the East, especially with Dame and Giannis. Fun fact, Dame and Giannis are the second highest scoring duo in the league, right behind, all you guess before I say it, Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. They are the highest scoring duo in the league as of last night. Now, I imagine that hasn't changed much considering the Sixers did not play last night. They do play tonight against the Kings. Should be a fun game. Embiid is out, sadly. Speaking of, that was an amazing segue, unplanned segue. Speaking of, Embiid has now missed, I think he's missed 11 games. I should have looked it up before I started. He's missed quite a few games. Now, definitely, if he misses 8 or 9 more, I believe it is, he's disqualified from awards this year. That being MVP, most notably. And truthfully, I don't care. I want Embiid so much more to be healthy for the playoffs than I do him winning an MVP. He has one. He has 2 scoring titles. He may end up winning the scoring title again, regardless of games played. I don't care about awards, and this applies to every player, but specifically Joel Embiid. I don't care about awards. I don't care about awards at all. To me, awards have become a diluted, media, agenda-ridden conversation, and I don't like them. So I don't care if Embiid is disqualified from awards. I would much rather, at the end of the day, have him be healthy for the playoffs, and the Sixers make a deep run to the conference finals than I would him winning an MVP and perhaps getting injured again. If this means he's healthy for the playoffs, give me this every single time. Every single time. I don't care about MVP. Only be a first team. Don't care. I want him to be healthy for the playoffs. That's my main concern. And that should be your main concern. If you're watching or listening to this, that should be your main concern. Is Embiid going to be healthy for the playoffs? That's what I need. That's what we all need. That's what the Sixers need. And that's what Embiid needs too. So don't care about MVP. There's a very good chance he is going to end up being disqualified from the awards based on his games played. At this rate, he will miss more games, and he might miss 10 more games at this point. But I don't care. He's been on pace for around 68 games played in the past 3 years. He might end up playing 64. That's cool. That's okay with me. I'm okay with that. And you should be too. So, again, the Sixers are 23-13 as of me recording. So, yeah, we're about midway point in the season. They're third in the East again. Kind of just reiterating some things. They're 2 games in front of the Pacers, who are on a bit of a heater. Tyrese Haliburton is injured. He's out for a little while. So, the Pacers may struggle to keep up with the Sixers in terms of wins. The Sixers, again, I think they're the second. I think they're the third best team in the East. I think they're the third best team in the East, and I don't know who challenges them much for that. I think the Heat are also up there. I think the Heat are really good. I mean, it's not even really an opinion. It's not really even an opinion. They are really good. Everyone doubts the Heat every year almost, and they end up playing really well. They make the finals. They make the conference finals. That's pretty much been the pattern for them over the past few years. So I am personally not one to discount them. I do think the Sixers are better, but matchup dependent, I do think the Heat can give them problems. The Heat can also give the Bucks problems and the Celtics problems. So I could talk about the Heat. I'm not a Heat fan. Obviously, this is a Sixers podcast. We're Sixers fans. But I think the Heat are very good, very sneaky, if you will, dangerously looming. If you get it. If you know, you know. Sixers versus the East. Who stands in the way? Another great segue that I didn't really plan. Heat, Bucks, Celtics are the 4 teams that stand in the way of any substantial Sixers postseason success. That's a tongue twister. I don't see the Sixers beating the Celtics in a 7-game series. I'm just going to say it now so that when May comes, I don't have to, people won't be surprised by me saying that. I don't think they can beat the Celtics in a 7-game series. If Embiid goes nuclear, I give them a chance. But I just don't see it. They're too talented. They have way too many great defenders. They're a great team defense, but they have so many great individual defenders. Jrue Holiday, especially Derek White, Jason Tatum. All these guys are all defensive level. Kristaps Porzingis is like borderline all defense. Jaylen Brown's very good. Al Horford still got some juice defensively. They're too good defensively, and they have the perfect, almost, personnel to guard and give Embiid problems. So I don't think the Sixers can beat them in a 7-game series. The Bucks, however, maybe. I think Giannis, with Dame, it's going to be tough because what do the Sixers do about Dame in a 7-game series? A half-court offense with Dame and Giannis, in theory, sounds unstoppable, especially in pick and roll or just Dame opening up the floor, Giannis diving to the rim. I mean, in theory, it's a nightmare for any team guarding the Bucks in the half court in the postseason. Hopefully they have things figured out by then if you're the Bucks or if you're their fans. I think the Sixers could beat them in a 7-game series. I do. It's tough for me to say because I just get very worried about Dame and how the Sixers would deal with Dame from a matchup perspective. But with Nick Nurse as your coach, I have no doubts for him finding something to use against Dame. Will it work? We don't know. That's my big question. So Boston is defense. Milwaukee is solution for Dame. Will it work? Miami is my third team who stand in the way of any substantial Sixers postseason success. Not because they're particularly talented. They're very good, but they match up so well every single year against the Sixers. And any team. For some reason, they always match up so well against whatever team they're playing. And it's concerning if you're a Sixers fan. You have Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, elite defensive personnel. They can guard Embiid very well. They have switchable guys every year. They have switchable pieces who just throw at Embiid, throw at Maxey. I don't know. I'm a lot more confident this year in the Sixers beating them than I would have been in past years, than I was last year, especially. A lot more confident in them beating the Heat this year than I would have been. I think they could probably beat them in 6. I do give the Heat 7 though. I think the Heat could take it to 7 and maybe win. I do think the Sixers could win in 6. And this is me. This is my not much is going to change in terms of my thoughts on all of this when the season ends come March, April. A lot of what I'm saying now is still going to apply from my end. Nothing's going to change much. I'm still going to have these thoughts. These teams aren't changing. The Bucks are only going to get better. The Celtics are only going to get better. They're not going to decline. Neither of these teams are going to decline in any way. These thoughts are only going to be magnified, more true. Truer? Is that a word? Is that proper? More true. Whatever. It doesn't matter. So, I do, again, this, I think that these thoughts are still going to apply come April, come, early May, whatever it is. That's pretty much it. That's all I have on my sheet here that I wanted to go over. Very kind of scattered thoughts here. So, if you listen to the whole thing, thank you. And Troy, this is going to be all one take. So, usually what happens is when we record, I send Troy the clips after. Sometimes my recording cuts out, or sometimes I run out of phone storage. So I'm forced to send Troy 2 clips. This is going to be 1 clip. So hopefully he gets this out pretty quickly. But like I said, hopefully this drops probably Saturday or Sunday for you guys. Again, thank you to everyone for listening and continuing to keep up with our content. We haven't been the most consistent. Troy and I have been very busy over the holiday season. But now that that's over, we should have pretty much regularly scheduled programming when it comes to episodes dropping, Instagram posts. Make sure you follow us on Instagram because we post a lot on Instagram. Troy does a great job with the graphics on there as well. Post podcast graphics, post game graphics. Go follow us on Instagram. You know what to do. Planet 76 on Instagram. Planet 76 podcast on Instagram. Check us out. Let us know what you think. If you have any questions for the episode next week, drop it to us in DM. DM us, leave a comment, whatever you gotta do. I'm rambling, but thank you all again for the support. And go Sixers. We will see you next time.
You just listened to an episode of the Planet 76 podcast. Hey, we appreciate you joining us for this episode. Whatever platform you're on, why don't you hit that subscribe button for us, and we'll see you next time.